Hello, my name's Ted, and this is Stuart Hill, who won the inaugural Waterstones Children's Book Award. I was so excited because Luella Benjamin was there, and I'd always been a massive fan of hers.
I had the award given to me by Jacqueline Wilson, which was a great thrill.
I was presented with a lovely trophy of a rocket from Tintin, which I handed to my father, who promptly broke it.
My mum was with me that evening, and seeing how happy and proud she was in that moment amplified the joy for me.
I thought somebody was like a magic wand had been waved my way.
I mean, it blew me away, and it still is one of the very best moments of my life and the best moment of my career.
And then before you know it, you've been up on the stage, you've done your little speech, you've forgotten to thank your wife. It's a whirlwind.
It was the most confusing emotion I've ever had in my life, because I realised I had to go back up without anything in my head and make a speech.
Such a long name, such a long title, so you'd think I had time to process it. But I didn't. I can still summon up that feeling of complete shock and utter delight.
My child started recording and captured it, and it was just such an amazing thing, so unexpected, and I sobered up very quickly.
I still have the award. Actually, my mom has it. She insisted that she put it on display at her house, and every time somebody comes over, she makes sure she points it out.
I never dreamt for a second it was going to be me, although you always hope at the back of your head, like, please, 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 please.
I absolutely lost my head, and I bounced out of my seat, and I was like, whoa, this is a big deal.
My first thought was, they've made a huge mistake.
And I think I stood there for a full minute or so, unable to speak.
I went into a state of complete shock and embarrassed myself as a writer by forgetting every single word in the English language.
Things changed overnight. I remember back in Scotland, a newspaper said, local girl wins major prize, and I was like, I'm local girl, that's me.
Suddenly I was launched into a new world where I was being interviewed.
I remember I went and I had to sign 2,000 copies of a book in a warehouse somewhere, which was very exciting.
Validation, it was recognition, and it was visibility.
You know, your book is in the window of every Waterstones in the country for a month afterwards, and suddenly everyone knows who you are.
You know, you would accidentally find yourself in a new town and accidentally find yourself wandering into the Waterstones and oh look, it's my book.
You just want to see as many kids as possible clutching worn out, battered, well-read copies of your book.
But it was like a real, like, we believe in you. Getting a co-sign from the biggest and best, most amazing bookshop in the world, in my eyes, was, it gave me sort of inspiration to carry on.
So it really launched me as a writer, and someone that had kept my stories hidden away for a very long time.
It changed the trajectory of my career and gave me the opportunity to keep telling stories.
Winning the prize gave me the confidence to keep trying on a difficult day.
A path forwards, I think, especially in terms of being able to write more, which is what every writer wants, I think.
So like yourself, for me, it did mean a certain level of validation.
Yeah, validation.
But why this was especially validating was because the Waterstones Children's Book Prize, the people who choose, who make the decision, are the booksellers.
The fact that it's a bookseller prize voted for by the booksellers of Waterstones, by hundreds, if not thousands, of people who are actually putting books into young readers' hands, and for them to pick my book.
Waterstones booksellers, they are really such a gregarious and loyal and enthusiastic and clever bunch.
Get a child young, of course, and give them something to read, and they will be a reader for life.
It's not all one kind of book that wins or all one kind of author. There should be something on that list to encourage a young reader to fall in love with reading.
And books are good and books are worlds, and so anything that promotes it should be heartily encouraged.
The older I get, the more I realise the touchstones in my life are the books that I read when I was a child.
And I throw this challenge out to the publishing world at large. Children's books are important because they create the readers of tomorrow. They create the adult readers. There shouldn't be the thing that I find, which is there's this hierarchy of children's books here and then adult publishing there. I'm not with it.
When I was young, I didn't find the books that I kind of needed to grow as a storyteller, and I didn't find the representation of families like mine in stories.
New writers, getting those books in children's hands is really, really important, so that it reflects the world around them now and not the world, 20 years ago.
I can see firsthand what a difference it makes to my kids having that vocabulary, having that imaginative space, having the things that they're interested in validated and celebrated.
With Waterstones particularly, you know, certainly in the last few years, their shortlistings have been so diverse, really diverse, and I kind of really notice it when I walk past Waterstones, you know, this mainstream high street shop, and just see books by authors with roots all across the world and protagonists all across the world. And I just think that just makes such a difference to children and young people these days who are incredibly global, both in terms of their interests but also in terms of their roots.
Children's books can change the world. They are what can create empathy. They are what can shine a light on what matters most in this world. They are what can change minds and win hearts.
The truth is, children's books are transformative, incredible, inspiring, and world-changing.
Children are, I think, the most underestimated part of our society. They always know what is pandering or what is brilliant. They deserve diverse genres, they deserve amazing stories, and Waterstones and this prize always deliver it to them.
It's so important that our kids, that our children have literature that not only speaks to them but shows them who they are, what they can do, shows them the world, and shows them that their stories matter.
If I'd have found those stories when I was a child, I might have been a storyteller much earlier.
Reading children's books, everybody wins. Parents, children, and even the authors who have to write them.